Hi everyone, Oliver here, Send Money Global Digital Payments. And this week has been quite interesting. Actually, the month of July, right? We started off with a very serious hurricane into the Caribbean, and that's obviously near and dear to my heart, being from Belize. Uh, the last week or so, there was this video that surfaced out of Jamaica regarding a young lady making some very insensitive comments, and that really caused a lot of people to feel very angry and hurt. Because when you think of your society as everybody's in this together, and you find out, well, we're not. I'm not going to necessarily comment on or pick on the young lady. I mean, at 16, we make mistakes, right? Myself made it. I have kids who pass through that age bracket, and we all have done things that I would say, later regret. But what I felt was, was very, what hit a nerve, I would say, is the fact that it was a reminder that many of the economic resources around us in the Caribbean, we don't control. We see it every day. We walk past it every day. And yet, this time was like it really got shoved in our face, right? That reminder. And that is what I think was even more so hurtful, right? Because it was this reminder. And when I looked at it and reflected on that, it's just, the idea that we as particular Black people in the Caribbean, in terms of what we control, and the history that has been there in the past in terms of whether it's colonization, exploitation, whatever. But at the end of the day, current day, we are not in control. We are not creating enough. We are not building enough, and hence we are basically just relegated to consumers. And so we are taken for granted. And so someone like that can make a video and not really have any thought, even outside of the age, right? Is that it could have been done by an adult. And the same thing, right? Is that we're good, we're getting out of here, we have the resources to leave, to hell with y'all, and that's it. So I want you guys to think, because to me, I think, when you saw, the hurt that occurred was, I have two props here today. The first one is the mirror, right? Is that we saw ourselves there, and we saw what we were lacking. It was a reminder. It was right in our face, a reminder of what we're lacking, what we need to do to build ourselves up, to build our community up, to support each other, to close ranks. We all know that a dollar that goes into that, into our community doesn't stay there much longer. Very quick, right? It leaves. It doesn't circulate. I believe on one of the groups here in the Caribbean group, I saw a stat that said basically 85% of the hotel, the resources, all those things, right? Those tourist destination, those dollars, 85% leave the country. I'm not surprised by that. I mean, when you think of the foreign ownership, the offshore ownership, the money doesn't need to be there. There are no financial markets to keep it there. So it just flows out outside of salaries and, maintenance and tax. Very little, right? Stays within the country. So that was a reminder that we are not in control. We have lost it, not totally, but we're close, right? And to see that businesses that we support and we think we're in this together, they're not. They don't have your well-being on the top. They're thinking of themselves, and they just see you as a dollar, as just someone buying in, giving them money in exchange for a service or goods, and that's it, right? For the vast majority. Of course, there's some, and I know some certainly in Belize, that are very involved in the community and they give back, but let's be very clear, this is a business transaction, right? And so what you saw in that video, I think, was a reminder, and I think that's why it also stirs some very hurt feeling, right? Because, we're now basically on the sideline. We are consumers. We're not creating enough. We're not building enough. We're not investing enough. We're not supporting each other enough, and hence, that's why I think, at least for me, I'll just say start there. It felt That was what I saw from that, not necessarily, someone acting up, as a normal teenager would. But I'll end on a more positive note here. And the positive note is that my second prop is the dollar. Looking at the CARICOM countries, there's about 12 billion in remittance that went there in 2022. 12 billion. Not all of it came from here in the United States, but a vast majority, probably 85% or so, came from here, originated from here. But that's a lot of money. And most of those businesses, those foreign-owned businesses, they're set up outside of the tourist that comes in, but the ones that are catering to local, they rely on that. You have power. You still have the dollar that your sons and daughters working abroad that sends home to mom and dad, to uncles, aunts, to take care of the kids left behind for groceries, for medical treatment. You have a spending power, and you can decide where you put your dollars. And I think you need to. I think we all need to be very conscious of where, how, and when we spend our dollars. Because, as you can see, where we spend it and who we think are our friends or will have our back, or at least have some sensitivity about our community, our struggles. It's not there. It's not there. So I encourage those who are entrepreneurs, get out there and build something. And those who maybe you're not entrepreneurs, support those who are. Keep the money in the community. Let it circulate, a few times before it leaves if it needs to leave. But we need to do that. I'm not hating on anyone else who have done that, what they need to do in terms of building a business, but we control this, okay? And we could decide where we spend our dollars. The same thing happens in the Caribbean, the same things happening here in the U.S., I'm in Chicago, Southwest Side. Disinvestment, unbanked, financial inclusion is not even there. So I just want to end this week this way, and just a kind of reminder that we do have, control. We are in control. We have power. We have our spending, whether it's every 15th and 30th, every payday that those remittance dollars get sent home back to the Caribbean or anywhere else, that you can decide where you spend it. And I think you need to really give that a thought, really seriously, going forward. That's it for now. Take care.